content. What's happening, my block buddies? This is a very special day. There's loads more Nintendo information from the new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Preview event. I'm here with Daan Koopman from N1tendo, Nintendo World Report, and of course GameXplain. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Well, I'm actually doing pretty great because I hear that you've got the scoop on a lot of things. So I'm very curious to hear what your reactions were for all this new Smash Brothers news, because you got to play a bit of classic mode, you got to play a little bit of spirits and maybe some World of Light stuff. So let's start here with the big one for everyone, I think, which is World of Light. Now, what exactly did you get to play in that mode?
So I got to play basically until we unlock the first 3 characters. So you start with Kirby at the beginning of the game, and after that you have to make your way through the world map, and this sees you unlocking characters as you go along. Once you unlock these characters, you can switch between them at any moment during the game. After Kirby, you first get Mario. After that, it's up to you. You can go anywhere you want on the map. I chose to go with Marth because Marth was one of the characters that I played the longest with ever since Melee. So I definitely want to play as Marth from that point. I went back and forth between Mario and Kirby also a little bit, but mostly played as Marth from that point onward. And yeah, it's unlike what I did with the previous modes, like Adventure Mode in Melee and Subspace Emissary in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. They made a adventure mode that focuses on the main mechanic of the actual game, which is fighting. For some, that could be a minor disappointment, but for me, as someone who didn't like the gameplay aspects of Subspace all that much, I think it's very much an improvement overall. I think they are building on what the game is actually about.
Alright, so you basically start out on this big world map, right? There's all tons of different variations on the terrain. It looks like they've pulled from every single kind of game that is represented in Smash Brothers. And can you move freely around the board, or is it like Mario Party where it's like set between spaces?
It's basically set between spaces, like you go from challenge to challenge. There are branching paths, just like how you choose the first character after Mario. You can go which way you want. So in that sense, there are branching paths. But the way you move over the map is you move from challenge to challenge.
Alright.
And the challenges are pretty interesting because obviously, you have a bunch of characters to fight. It can be anybody of the roster, but at the same time, there are spirits attached to them, which give every battle like a very different effect.
Okay, so one of these, of course, is the enemy from Pikmin, right? I think it's the first one you fight against Mario.
I don't think that's not an enemy from Pikmin. I think that's an enemy from Zelda. I'm not completely sure, to be honest. I'm not too up on my enemy lore.
Sure, so they all have kind of these different skills, right? As spirits do. So they either like transform mid-battle, or they can summon assist trophies, or they start with some sort of item, or big or small.
Yes.
What kind of fun variations did you play in your time with World of Light?
One of them, the battle against Mario was Metal Shift, which every so often he turns metal, and it can just happen at random, which was sort of annoying to get him out of the map, because once he turns metal, its range of flying becomes shorter, so you have to hit a whole bunch harder. Luckily at that point I did get a Star Rod, so I could charge my attack and then attack him all the way to the back, and that's how I won ultimately. But up to that point, it wasn't all that easy.
Alright, so fighting against these characters makes you unlock them, of course, in the game. Do you feel like this is a nice new way to unlock them, or do you kind of miss that, alarm bell kind of sound when you unlock, the big battle?
Honestly, I'm not sure if that's how we unlock them, because they haven't made it very clear, and when we played the game, all the characters were already unlocked in our build. So we don't know exactly if that is the way you're gonna unlock these characters, not 100% anyway. I think it would be, but they haven't really said anything to us either way, which is really weird. That being said though, I think that considering how much the battles change every time you play and every stage you go through, that's what makes this fun. Because the spirits add so much variety. For example, one of the other battles that I remember fondly in the moments that I played of World of Light was I was fighting this gigantic Rob who had a guardian attached to it, the guardian from Breath of the Wild. And the conditions were, and get this, the enemy has super armor. It is hard to launch or flinch. It was a stamina battle, and the enemies would favor neutral specials.
Right, the laser. So
yeah. So because it ties into the Guardian, and that's what I also like. They sort of tie in the spirit that's attached to it, like a trait of that character, which is really, really fun. So I had a fun time, like understanding why this certain spirit was attached to it, and that is sort of the part of the puzzle now. Like, we see the conditions. Where does this spirit character fit in, and where does this actual character fit in with his attack moves? And that side of it, I had so much fun with because it made every battle such a unique experience.
Oh, that's really cool. So in terms of fighting against these characters, there are so many things that the Nintendo, like the Sakurai development team, have to pull from, because it's not only just the stage, but you can have variations on that stage. It could be the Battlefield or Final Destination version. You could have a character with all kinds of different abilities and items. You can have costume changes, and there's even stuff like having different music in stages where there isn't any music. I think I saw an example of, a whole different, like, Pokemon tune to a stage that had nothing to do with that franchise. So they can literally go all out with the combinations. And were there any one in particular, like, other than that Guardian, that really stuck by you?
I think that... Let me think. There was Charlotte Allin from the Castlevania franchise, which was attached to Zelda. And she is very much a magic-based character, and the conditions became the special moves had increased power, and then Zelda would prefer side specials, so her fire attack, and then reinforcements in the form of Richter would appear throughout the battle.
So Richter would jump into the battle randomly?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they can do really fun stuff. And did you see any instances of maybe assist trophies being used in these battles?
Yeah. There was one moment where one of the stickers that was Eevee, and Eevee would constantly spawn as the support Pokemon. It just wouldn't end coming. Eevee would just keep coming back in, and it was super insane. So just doing headbutt the whole time, right? Yeah. And what were the conditions of this battle? Was it, anything related to, like, Eevee's, evolutions, or? No, just plain Eevee. That's awesome. Another one that I really liked, we just can keep talking about this. Right. Another one that I liked was the Wario team. So, get this. The spirit that was attached to them was a charging Chuck. So, interesting. You would think, so what? What makes this interesting? The enemy would favor dash attacks. Oh, so it would charge the whole time, basically. Yeah. That's cool. And it became really insane because you had to deal with 3 of those Warios at the same time. Oh, and they would just constantly, like, charge like a charging Chuck at you. Basically. That's interesting. So do you see, after your playtime with World of Light, do you kind of see
this being a very lengthy mode, or do you think you'll, complete it in a few hours, or where does it stand right now?
It seems pretty lengthy, and I'm pretty interested in completing this all the way. So I also absolutely will. And it seems really fun. And if you don't necessarily want the story aspect to it, I'm not sure why not, but we can immediately move on to, say, the Spirits board.
Yeah.
Where they bring you additional challenges outside of what they're doing with World of Light. And the interesting thing here is that at any given moment you have 10 different challenges to choose between. And these can be very novice, beginner challenges, or super legend challenges. For example, where a Shine Sprite spirit is on the line.
Shine Sprite?
Yeah.
That's cool. So what does a Shine Sprite... Is it like a yellow Kirby or like a gold Mario? Or
I sadly... Let me think. So, the Shine Sprite spirit would... the enemy would suddenly have a final smash.
Oh.
The enemy would occasionally be invincible. And you would fight Rosalina and Luma.
Right, makes sense, right? The star being Luma being the Shine Sprite, I guess, and Rosalina's final smash is the big, Grand Star or something.
Yeah, and obviously you would fight on Delfino Square, obviously.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And I just had fun, just going through all of them. Because there are so many crazy references in this thing I've seen so far. You have things like Animal Crossing characters. You have the Guardian. You have Face-On Samus from Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Ditto. You have the Esna from the 3DS game last year, which was called... God, I forget what the name is called. But you have characters that you would know and characters that would be completely random pulled from very obscure Japanese things. And understanding the meaning they have to what they bring to the actual battle, once again, that side of it super engaged me. Another one I remember from the Spirits board is that there was the spirit of Sonic the Werewolf from Sonic Unleashed.
Oh, the Werehog guy.
Yeah. Where you would play against Wolf, and the stage would be covered in fog.
Sure.
His physical attacks would have increased power, just like with the Werehog, and it would also have, just in general, increased attack power, which was really, really fantastic.
And so did the jazz music play from Sonic Unleashed?
Surprisingly enough, no. It was the music from Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Oh, I do like that song. So that fits with Sonic pretty well, right?
Yeah, it fits pretty well.
So all of those spirits together, right? I think, is there a distinction between the spirit board and the spirits that you fight in World of Light? Are they the same, or are those two different? Will they not cross between modes?
So the path you take throughout World of Light is predetermined. Okay. And they build up over time. So you start pretty low with novice and advanced spirits, so 1 and 2 stars. With Spirits board, you can make it as hard as you want and just quickly play something on the fly, and that's what this is built upon. For example, if you quickly want to play something or experience something, you can do that. So I think how to compare World of Light and the Spirit board, I would do it like this. World of Light is predetermined, so you start pretty easy with novice and advanced spirits, so 1 and 2 stars. And you have cutscenes and bosses and predetermined stuff you need to do. It's a very expensive mode where you have to go from beat to beat to beat to beat, and it might take longer depending on what you do there. And there's also upgrade systems and what have you. It goes way deeper in World of Light. With the target list on the Spirit board, you basically do these targets because you quickly want to earn more spirits so you can keep yourself into the game, and B, they're just quick to do. They're quick challenges that you can take on right this very moment. And you only get one shot. With World of Light, you get multiple challenges. You only get one shot in each of these challenges before they go away a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's more tailored towards, like, this is on the Switch, of course, so it's more tailored towards, like, I'm in the subway playing this game, and I can just quickly push in, like, 2 spirit battles or something.
Basically, yeah. Obviously, you still have to prepare for them with your own spirits and how you level them up and what have you. Through my Spirit Board experience, I had one of the characters of Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Okay.
On the Wii U, and I would fully upgrade them and make them as powerful as I possibly could, and just try to get through the challenges as much as I can. So, still, the 3 and 4 stars are incredibly difficult, like almost mesmerizingly so, and especially if you're not necessarily well equipped for that, you shouldn't be taking them that early in the game.
Right.
Because you need like enough level ups and enough skills and power to back you up in that battle.
Okay.
But once again, I feel that the difference between World of Light and Spirit Board is that World of Light is something that you play beefier and over like an hour or 2 at a time or something, where Spirits Board is something you quickly play because you maybe wait for somebody else to come online, or you want to play something on the go. Like for that's really, really good. And having the 2 various modes of play and being fully focused on what makes Smash so great, including extra stuff like extra wrinkles, makes it makes that so good. And I'm so happy with that. Obviously, there are some stuff missing on the other flip side of it, like some stadium stuff, what have you. But purely as something that you can play at home or on the go, I think that all the Spirit stuff really knocks it out of the park.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about, spirits in particular, how they would kind of feel and how they would kind of fight. But everything that you're saying kind of feels like they've put all their eggs in the spirits basket, so to say, and that they've really been focusing on sort of like what we had in Events Match, right? And just flashing that out, like you say, fighting is the base of Smash Brothers, so let's focus a little bit on that. So I think that they're doing this with another mode as well, just focusing on the battles as a whole and not target smash and that kind of stuff. And that's the new and improved Classic mode. And I think you've had a hands-on with Classic mode a little bit, so I'm very curious to see how that's changed, because that's one of my favorite modes in Smash.
Yeah, so I played Classic mode with Captain Falcon and with Duck Hunt Duo.
Nice, so you showed him your moves.
yeah. So we could play any character we wanted. We could only talk about 5 though. So the first one that I played was Captain Falcon. I played Classic mode 2 times because I don't want to spoil myself too much, because every route is unique in this game. So I went first for Captain Falcon, which was called Up Close and Personal. First of all, you choose the intensity and your difficulty setting, which from the beginning it can go from 1 to 5, but as you go for Classic mode and go beyond that 5.0, more will unlock and you can do more. What is fantastic about that is that everything is wrapped up with this really fantastic drawn artwork. So I can't wait for that to expand fully to 9.0. But after that, it's just classic fighting, classic mode, like going through different stages with different opponents and different sides of it. In the first round, in Captain Falcon was Donkey Kong, Up Close and Personal, because they both use physical moves, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
After that, let me think. After that was Ganondorf.
Right, it's close quarters fighters, like fighters that need to be up close and personal.
It just goes on and on and on and on. Like Ryu and Roy, and basically all the characters that have a very good up close game.
Right, that don't really use any projectiles per se.
No. It will end with Little Mac. Then it goes to a sort of a stage where you collect golden orbs in a way to score points.
Right, so this is like a new race to the finish kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Or escape from the finish, I guess.
Escape to the finish,
right.
Because you have to avoid the black void.
And is there any story incentive for this, or is this just generic runaway mode?
Well, it's basically to score you a bunch of points with the golden orbs, because at the end of the day, you have to put a score down, and that's determined by all of these battles, including this specific little mode. It's sort of a little bit of a palette to guide you between the last regular battle and the final battle.
Right, and this final battle, well, I was thinking that it could be like Master Hand or Crazy Hand, but it turns out that it's, something unique for every fighter, right?
Not every fighter. Some fighters share the same final boss. I know that Mario and Captain Falcon both share Giga Bowser.
Ooh, that's nice.
And then the other character that I played with was Duck Hunt Duo, at which the final boss was Rathalos, the monster from Monster Hunter.
So it's like this this dog and this duck fighting a gigantic like anime dragon.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, though. With it also makes sense in context because every character in Duck Hunt's Duo run is an animal. You might say, hold up there. One of the standard stages in the new classic mode are Mii's, and you would be right. You would be absolutely correct. However, they're all wearing bear suits.
So they're still animals.
Yeah, technically.
Nice. So was there anything else that, really jumped out with classic mode? Something, in terms of presentation that you really liked?
I just liked the flow of the stages. They went really fast. I also like how between every stage, like the difficulty increases. So when you do really well, it will jump by quite a margin, like 0.6 or 0.7. If you do okay, it will jump by 0.3. If you fail a battle, it will jump down a bit and let you continue. So it goes between ebb and flow. It sees where you're going and tries to adjust to that. Ultimately, and I think this is the most important thing, the ultimate goal is to get to 10.0 and see what it gets you. And obviously at this point in time we don't know. We don't know what comes at 10.0.
Right, it could be
nobody's reached it yet.
It could be Galeem for all we know.
Yeah. But for now, the highest I got was like a 6.0 because I wanted to see as much as possible before time.
Sure.
And I see how that artwork expands as more as you see it, and I can't wait to see what that complete artwork looks like once I reach that end.
That's awesome.
Because that's what I would really want to see, and how that evolves between every battle and how that grows as you push harder towards the end. That's what keeps me going for every character in classic mode, and I cannot wait to see which final bosses are tied to which characters, because obviously we have seen that two characters have the same final boss, but at the same time we don't know which are attached to which and how their paths will evolve, and that's what I'm really interested in seeing.
Nice. Yeah, it does sound like classic mode now. It really feels like it pays off to play it with every single character. And in Smash Wii U, I didn't really see the need for that. It was all randomized and it didn't really matter all that much. And you just pick the one that could complete classic mode the best. But now it seems a lot more balanced and varied, and it seems like a tiny little story per character. So I really appreciate it for that. And then we have World of Light and classic mode and the Spirits board. And did you play anything else? Did you find any fun tidbits in the normal Smash game?
I played obviously with all the new characters. I think I went really back and forth with which characters I liked the best. For the moment, like my favorite newcomers right now are Isabelle and Incineroar.
Oh, that's awesome. The two like animal characters.
Yeah, and both for very different reasons. Like Incineroar is purely a wrestler. And I really appreciate that about him. At the same time, what he does with his side move, like he bounces a character into the ropes, that character comes back, and then you have to do another timed move. That is what really is awesome about it. So I really went out of my way to learn that specific maneuver. And honestly, that is one of the most fun I had just doing that side B. Also, his up when you go down and immediately go down to do a sideways fire kick is also really, really cool. The other character that I really enjoyed, like I just said, is Isabelle. Isabelle is... She's just adorable. She's just most of the most adorable characters that I ever played in Smash Brothers. With the side B being the popper, the party popper. And she flying with a bunch of balloons and up to the air. The bucket with the down B. And then side B is basically just throwing out the fishing rod. And I think all of that is just really, really well put together. Like, I like the little Animal Crossing touches. And I liked it already with Villager the last time when he was new. But with Isabelle, we really knocked it out of the park. Yeah, that's what I really liked about it. For the rest, I went for the menus, saw how I can change the way I can change my battle. The time limit goes all the way up to 99, so you can do whatever you want and make it as fun as you want it to be. Launch rate, anything you want, you can do whatever you want to. In addition, I tried to go to the Palutena stage and tried to do Palutena's guidance, and yes, it's there.
Woohoo! So we at least have Palutena's guidance. No word on Snake Codex yet, of course.
Yeah, I didn't try it. That's the thing. I could have tried it, but I like the interaction between Palutena and Pit the most. So I kind of wanted to see a few characters before I went away there, and wanted to see how they would implement them. And the conversations I've seen were really good.
Nice. Yeah, it's really good to hear that the same polish is still here. And it feels like with all those modes we just talked about, you know, just that the breadth of what World of Light is looking like, you know, the entirety of that map and so many Spirit Fighters. But just having, you know, that Spirit board as a mode alone, and then having Classic mode being customized as well, it almost feels like there's no real need for other side modes, even though they will be sorely missed. It does feel like this game has a lot of single-player content just beyond the everyone is here and beyond the battles. It just feels like there's so much to do. So will you miss the modes?
No, not necessarily. Like, I would like to have them at the same time. The way they changed Classic mode, and plus now the new modes with being Spirits Board and World of Light, I don't necessarily think I will miss them, because the reason I play Smash is to play Smash. I don't necessarily play like a baseball minigame. And all of their efforts is to building Smash like a more complex game. With A, the spirits, B, expanding like the normal Smash mode with, say, the final Smash meter, what have you. They're making the focus on making it a better Smash game and a better Smash experience in the terms of battling. And the way you fight against CPUs, the way you fight against each other, the way you fight with other people, it feels so complete right now. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. And we can argue that we would have liked maybe an adventure mode that would have been more like, say, Melee or Subspace Emissary. But to be honest, and to be completely frank with you, don't we just want a better Smash game?
Yeah, I feel like you hit on something there. There's just something about the quality of what they're offering with Smash Bros. Ultimate that really does make it feel kind of ultimate. They put so much polish into the character animations, into the style of the game, bringing every character back and almost every stage, and just having, you know, near like 1,000 music tracks, which is also insane. So I truly believe you when you say that this game is still ultimate, even though it is missing a few fan favorite things. It's, you know, opening some new game modes that we never thought we would have. You know, not only the ones in Classic mode right now, the, race to the finish with that black hole, but also stuff like Spirits, which is like endless fun. They could continue them with DLC, into, infinity and, beyond, which I think is very interesting.
If they added like 50 more of those Spirit Board quests, that would have been pretty awesome. Because every Spirit quest is so different from each other that it could be a continuing process all on its own, and I would really appreciate that, to be honest.
Yeah, it would feel almost like unlocking a little bit more Smash that way, and I think creating these spirit battles with all the characters that you already have, I mean, just imagine we are still getting 5 DLC fighters, which we don't know who they are, and we're still getting PD Piranha also, which means, Piranha Plant, wow. And it also kind of makes me feel like, well, based on those 5 or 6 fighters, you could also have like 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 kind of spirit battles based on them. I don't want to do any speculation within this discussion, but just think about that fact that opens up possibilities for even more spirits, maybe as DLC. So that said, I mean, what was your overall impression of the game? Is there something that you're still looking forward to seeing that you don't necessarily know about?
I'd like to know how World of Light comes to its own. It is really fun, and I want to see how it evolves further beyond what I played. Other than that, I feel that for me this is a really closed and shut case. I've seen everything that I necessarily want to see before the game comes out, and I'm pretty much excited to go through all of that. I want to go for every classic mode. Like, I won't miss All-Star mode exactly because that was a chore, but how they're building up classic mode this way is really fun. And then additionally all the World of Light stuff and Spirits that will keep me engaged for quite a while longer. I'm not the best Smash player in the world, I will freely admit that, but man, thinking about the fun I had during that session and the feeling that I just want to go back, I just cannot wait for that,
Well, it's coming very, very close. I mean, it's just about 3 weeks or something until we get to play this thing. So let's just make a date and let's just smash.
That came out wrong, but yes.
Well, there you have it. Well, we'll see you guys next time. This was Block Content. Thank you so much, Daan.
Thank you so much.
And, well, let's play Smash Brothers. That's what I meant.